Hey everybody, it's Katrina Russell again. I hope you're staying safe and healthy. I had an interesting conversation about a meme, like you do. I was with people I knew. I don't fight with people. I don't. I don't converse with people I don't know online anymore. I've kind of given that up because, like, my friends are morons enough. I don't need to talk to strangers that are morons. No offense to my friends, but it's normally people that I'm like, they post things. And I'm like, do you understand what you just posted? So the meme that I'm sure you've seen, it's out there. It's all about how like the top billionaires have made so much money over the COVID lockdown, like Amazon and Facebook and Microsoft and all that, and how that's what's wrong with the world. I'm like, I don't understand why these people or these companies really making money is what's wrong with the world. There's lots of things wrong with this world, but I'm not really seeing that. But they're like, well, why should they make money? Because they have a service that was utilizable. Sorry, during this lockdown. That's what people did. They shopped online. They went on Facebook. They used their computers. Like, that's where they lived. So, of course, and I'm sure I don't know who the other people were. They were probably, like, Zoom people and PayPal people and whoever the other people were. I'm not big on who billionaires are. But they're like, well, they're stealing our money. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Did they, like, put a gun to your head? Did they, like, how did they steal your money? You gave them your money, I'm assuming, because you appreciated their products. And the thing that really bothers me is I said how especially Facebook, Amazon, and Microsoft, they specifically, Microsoft's a little bit different, but Amazon doesn't actually sell products. It's a service, especially the shopping part of it. I mean, they have like the movies and music that I guess they can sell that way. But like the shopping end of it, most of those are individual retailers who are selling things on Amazon. So they literally are like marketing and a lot of them are distributing because a lot of them use the Amazon Prime type, sending it into the Amazon warehouse. So, but they're literally helping small businesses grow I know people who own small businesses who couldn't send things out, but they could go through Amazon and they could post things on Amazon to get their stuff sent out. I used to work for a bridal company and we used to use Amazon. We had our own website, but we used to sell on Amazon. So most of what Amazon is selling other people's products. And yes, obviously they take a cut and whatever, but it's products that wouldn't have been sold. So the more money they make, the more money these small businesses make, which is a good thing. Now, same thing with Facebook. Facebook is free. I've never paid anything to use Facebook personally. It makes its money off of advertisements. And the advertisements are paid for by businesses. And a lot of small businesses, whether it be services or products or whatever, use Facebook for advertising and for sales. And so they're literally, their job is to help other people's businesses grow. So I said how they've added more to our economy and helped more people than anybody else. And they're like, well, they pay like barely minimum wage for and I'm like, I'm not talking about their employees working in a warehouse, which they actually pay fairly decently, but I'm not talking about the warehouse work. Yes, they have employees. Of course they have employees. They have employees for the warehouse. They have employees that are drivers. They have employees that help run the website. They have all that kind of stuff, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that their whole shtick is that other people make millions selling on Amazon. And I feel like that's part of the problem with especially the left. I feel like the right has a little bit more of a stay out of my life, I want to run my own business and do my own thing attitude. And the left has more of a, I need to get a job, and these corporations take all the money and don't pay me anything. It's a lot more of an employee attitude. I remember my dad had his own business since I was like 7 years old. And I remember him always telling me to start my own business. He's like, why make money for someone else when you can make money for yourself? And my brother took him up on it. I've tried to take him up on it. I'm trying to figure out what kind of business I want, but I've done a bunch of them. Nothing that really sticks with me. Done a lot of independent contracting because of that through different things though. But anyway, yeah, like there's only so far you're going to get as an employee. You're going to make your real money by creating your own business. And that's kind of the way the right thinks, where the left thinks we need to up our minimum wage. And they said, well, they shouldn't be making billions. No, and this is the thing that really got me, is they said, you make money depending on how hard you work, and they don't work like 500 times harder than we do. And I was like, but that's not how you make money. You don't make money based on how people who clean toilets work really hard, but they don't make a lot of money. It's not based on how hard you work. It's based on what you contribute to society and what society is willing to pay you. So with these big corporations, they not only have huge, especially with Amazon, they have warehouses and, one of the biggest, they can own Whole Foods right now, everything. But they not only employ people, but like I said, everybody shops on it. Everybody puts their businesses through it. They contribute a boatload to society, which is why we keep giving, like, they make our lives easier. They make lives, especially during the pandemic where we couldn't go anywhere. So we feel that it's worth it to give them our money, and that's how they make money. I also said that they're not freaking Scrooge McDuck. They don't have a vault full of gold coins. Most of their money isn't liquid. It's their stock options. And they said, well, they can sell their stock at any time. They're just selfish. I'm like, well, you better hope they're not selfish, because if they do sell their stock prices are going to plummet, their businesses are going to crumble, and there goes a good chunk of our economy. Like, they literally are a good chunk of our economy between Facebook and you don't think about Facebook because so much of it's free. And you think, oh, they're selling the ads and they're doing the this and they're doing that. But it's like, yeah, that's how they make money. And that people hate it. I love it. People are like, oh, you need to get these things so that you can block. And I'm like, why? I'm a huge fan of Doctor Who. And I love when I put doctor into my search engines, like Doctor Who stuff. Like, I don't get information on podiatrists. I get information on Doctor Who because my phone knows what I'm looking for. Facebook knows what I'm looking for. And as much as we all, Big Brother's watching us, which is freaking supposed to be the government, which, if you guys didn't think about it, who the left now wants the government to run everything. Don't even get me started. But it's like that, this is what makes life easier. And yes, it's a little bit of, like, why do you care? I don't know. That's a completely different story. But anyway, but then it turned into, well, they need to donate their money then because they're too rich. I'm like, first of all, I'm sure they donate just fine. Republicans have a tendency to donate way more than Democrats. But I'm sure they don't donate just fine. But even if they don't, that's their money. Nobody can tell you have to donate money. That's not how this works. And then I was talking about Microsoft. And, Microsoft changed computers. I mean, before Microsoft Windows, I don't know if some of you were around before Microsoft Windows, but I was. And, like, the one person in the office in some offices, and it was like this, you had to enter in prompts, and they were pretty, I mean, they're pretty tricky to work. You had to remember all these prompts and how to get to things and codes, and it's literally like coding yourself to use a computer. There was a little bit of like, you could kind of buy some programs that were designed for whatever your business was, especially like a catalog program. Windows came along, personal computers everywhere. It changed everything. Made a huge difference in businesses. Everybody now has a computer. Everybody, homes, everything. It changed the world. And then they're talking about how, you know, they need to give more to charity. Freaking the Gates Foundation gives gajillions to charity. And then they're like, well, they're trying to make money off vaccines. Okay, they're also designing vaccines. They've this has somehow become a bad thing that they're over trying to, like, cure malaria in Africa is suddenly a bad thing because they might actually turn a profit off of their vaccines. It's like, who cares? They're business people. Who cares? They're still trying to freaking cure malaria. Like, it's like, it doesn't matter what anybody does. I've realized, and I don't remember who said this, but it's true. Democrats and the left don't like poor people. They hate rich people. They don't want to help poor people. They, when they talk about this, the Black Lives Matter, they don't care about the black babies being shot in the streets. They don't care about the thousands that kill each other every day, every year. They care about what the structural society does, because society is bad because there are rich people. And there shouldn't be rich people. They don't go in to local, they don't go into their inner cities and volunteer. They don't go and donate their money or their time or their resources into inner cities. They're not saying, hey, why don't we all get together and make a foundation to create better schools in inner cities. They literally just want to take money from rich people because they don't care about poor people. They just hate rich people. And I think it's disgusting. And I think that they have no idea how the world works. They have no idea how the economy works. They have no idea what they're doing. They're just hateful people. And I was listening to parts of Michelle Obama's speech last night, all about how, like, the Democrats are the party of empathy. Who are they empathizing with? Themselves? Because they cancel anybody who disagrees with them. They cast anyone who disagrees with them as racist, homophobic, sexist, blah, 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 hateful speech, hate. They're not empathizing. I am a liberal. I've always been liberal. I probably always will be liberal. I am the type of person who appreciates and understands that everybody's different and that everybody's the same at the same time. That everybody just wants to be loved and understood, and that the only way we can make the world a better place is to stop judging each other. But the left has run so far left that they judge everybody on everything. They are the most hateful group of people I've ever seen. Even people who I love. There are people who I've known their entire lives who are calling me racist and sexist. Sexist towards women now, because I don't agree with the policies and the things that they're saying. Which the things I'm saying are like, right, because everybody's equal. So yes, these, no, I don't think all white men are bad. I didn't think my dad was bad. I don't think my brother's bad. I don't think my son's bad. I think white men are wonderful. Not all, but for the most part. But I'm a horrible person for thinking that. I'm a horrible person for appreciating the police. I'm a horrible person for understanding that although we had slaves 200 years ago, most of America did not have slaves, and it was because of America's freedom in the Declaration of Independence and in our constitutions that started to change the way the world looked at slavery, and it was the beginning of the end of slavery in the world. There was slavery for 1,000,000,000 years, but it was one little country, a couple of little colonies up in the top, that started to change the way the world looked at things. I understand that. I studied history. And I'm a racist because I understand this. And it's like they say vicious things. These are people that have known their whole lives, say vicious things to me. And I'm like, when have you ever known me to be racist? Well, I didn't think you were until now. So in your 20-something years of life, you've never seen or heard me do or say anything racist. But now, because I say that all people are equal and that all people should be treated equally, I'm racist. Because I say that billionaires shouldn't have to give away their money that they've earned because they've contributed a boatload to society, I'm literally racist for that. Like, I don't even know what that has to do with race. There's plenty of poor people. It just, I don't know. It's all hate. That's what it is. They're just jealous, hateful, spiteful people who want to take, there's people in Black Lives Matter are literally walking up and down the streets of, I don't remember if it's Portland or Seattle because I get them confused. To be honest, I'm an East Coaster. West Coast is kind of, they're all the same to me. But they're walking up and down the streets telling white people they need to get out of their houses and give them to black people. That's racist and that's hateful. Now mind you, I don't agree with Trump trying to limit low-income housing either. I think low-income housing in suburban areas is a great idea. I've had lots of friends who grew up in low-income housing. We lived in low-income housing for a while, and when we were kids, I think it's great. I think low-income housing in suburban areas are wonderful things. I think that there should be rules. I mean, I've gone to some low-income housing where, you walk out the building and people are smoking pot and kids are playing Foursquare and, crazy stuff's happening at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, what is going on? No. You have to respect the area. But, so I don't agree with Trump doing that, and I have to look more into it because, I've kind of seen the headline versions of it, but I'm like, no. I think we need to, help where we can. Like I said, liberal, but that doesn't mean stealing money from other people. Okay, that's the end of my rant. My rant. I don't know where that came from, my rant. That's the end of my rant. And like, subscribe, follow, whatever it is, and share. And have a nice day.